see that Troy Taylor, Tyler Huntley led offense first. Reed Taubenheim is going to kick it away for North Dakota, as it is filling up here at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Let the fun begin. And Kyle Folks is going to let that one fly by. Utah's offense will begin at the 25-yard line with a young man making his first start, Yogi Roth, with 7 throws to his name.
Well, I'll tell you what, he earned it. You know, he earned this job. Kyle Whittingham was very clear. He said, look, everything in this program is based upon competition, and he won the job. We know what Troy Williams can do. He won 9 games a year ago. He can lead this team. He's won huge games, but Tyler Huntley's ceiling, they feel, is higher. Now he's got the keys to this offense. It's a new-look offense. It'll be fun to see how he operates, because you know he's going to be excited to lead this team in his first career start.
Darren Carrington among the 4 receivers on the field for Utah as Huntley comes to the line of scrimmage. Carrington will be at the top of your screen. He's wearing number 9. Zach Moss is going to be in the backfield as Huntley going to run on first down, and Austin Cieslak, the redshirt junior, tackles him for a loss of 2.
Something we're going to want to watch all game long is if Tyler Huntley sits in the pocket and gets rid of it, or is he quick to run? When you watch him in high school, at Hallandale High School in South Florida, dynamic passer, but also a very unique and gifted runner. They love that ability with him. Does he try to run too quickly?
He's going to throw here, and that is Darren Carrington. Good block in front near a first down. It was Singleton creating space, a gain of just over 12 to move the chains. A flag, however, is down, and we're going to get to meet our referee, the fine official with his crew, Terry Lydon, discussing. Perhaps in the neighborhood of a hold by one of the wide receivers.
After the conclusion of the play and Utah first down, personal foul, late hit. Number 11 of the correction. Unsportsmanlike conduct is the foul against number 11, Utah, his first of the game. First down.
So it might have been that push to the face right there.
Well, it's a great call, number 1. You cannot stand over a defender. That's what Raylan Singleton did. It's a penalty every time. Great call by that crew. And if you're Utah, this is uncommon for them. They do not have a lot of unforced errors. We'll be tracking that all game long. That's number 1 for them.
So it wipes out a little bit of first down gain. Huntley's throw into the flat is caught by Troy McCormick, and he nearly gets to the 30, running behind Damari Simpkins.
You know, it was fun yesterday, guy. We had a chance to talk to Damari Simpkins, the wide receiver, and he talked about the confidence of this group. This is a totally new system and new offensive coordinator, Troy Taylor. And this is a system that's based on spacing. They're not necessarily reading coverages, they're reading space. Where is their green grass? Where is their space? The quarterback and receiver need to be on the same page all evening long.
High school teammates in the backfield from Hallandale High. Zach Moss and Huntley, and it's Moss swallowed up immediately right there. Tank Harris for a loss. And this defensive front has looked good for North Dakota early on.
Well, you know, we see so many times in the Pac-12, you know, when teams are physical up front, they do well when they go up against teams that are not physical on their offensive side. Well, for North Dakota, every day they go up against a very physical offense. It's an old school, downhill, NFL-style running team, so they're not going to be intimidated by the physicality of the offensive line for Utah.
Utah needs the 31-yard line. They bring the tight end Handley into the game, along with another tight end, Jake Jackson, making his first appearance. Here comes pressure. Huntley gets it away, and he throws an interception. Evan Holm leaned in front of the intended receiver, Darren Carrington, for the pick. This was one of the best defenses at taking the ball away in the FCS last year, and to them it makes no difference there in an FBS game tonight.
I'll tell you what, we haven't talked about the offensive line of Utah. They replaced 4 starters. Oh, by the way, all of them went to the National Football League. Early on in this ball game, first drive, give the edge to the defensive front of North Dakota. They didn't bring any pressure. They're just rushing their front 4, and they got to the quarterback 3 snaps on that drive.
So now here comes the ground and pound offense. They take over at the 29.
I want to be shocked to see play action pass right here, man. This is where you take a shot.
He's got Damon Mercer to the top of the screen. His big play receiver now going in motion. It's going to be Santiago, the running back, and Chase Hansen in the backfield, the first man there. to stop that after a short gain. A third-year starter, Keaton Studsrud, one of the captains for this North Dakota team, who's been so good at protecting the football. He threw the fewest interceptions among FBS and FCS quarterbacks last year, just 2. He's going to give to Santiago again. He puts his head in, and again he's swallowed up. Mokafisi, the first man there, with help from Barton and Tautioli.
You know, the beautiful part about this defensive line, if you're a Utah fan, you know the history of it. They just hold their point. All right, you see, just hold and hold and hold, and now bang, here comes the linebackers. Sania Tautioli comes in to make the play. That's where they're very unique. They're not going to get beat. They're not going to get pushed around. They're going to hold their point and allow the athletic linebackers, now experienced linebackers of Utah, to make plays.
3rd down at 7, within their field goal range. Studsrud has full control at the line of scrimmage. 5 on the play clock. And he throws complete. Travis Toivonen, the young man that led the team in receptions last year, a 1st down.
Watch the quarterback here. Incredible job. He's going to pump and kind of hold. He wants to throw once. Let me reset. Great job by the wideout, finding that second hole in space against the zone coverage in the red zone. Critical downs and distances. Big score for North Dakota right there.
At the 13-yard line. Two fullbacks in the game to the right of the offensive line. As Mercer goes in motion, they're going to give it to him, trying to get around the edge, and he slipped down right as Julian Blackman was there to touch him.
You know, Utah's defense, they play so much man-to-man. That's why you're going to see a lot of the cross motion. Can you confuse the defense a little bit? Can you get them to overrun a gap and get a backside run? And even if that play doesn't work, as it didn't on the previous snap, it's good because it slows down the edge rushers, who are very gifted for Utah. Easily the most athletic, most talented players North Dakota will see all season long.
A defense that lost a lot, but was 2nd in the nation in sacks last year. Studsrud looking to throw, and he has it batted down. Kylie Fitz back onto the field for the Utes. A moment he feared he might never see.
You know, we love college football for the stories, and Kylie Fitz is as good as it gets. This is a young man out of high school, was committed to USC, was going to be a mid-year enrollee. Well, they didn't have a scholarship available for him, so all of a sudden he said, what do I got to do? Goes to UCLA. Doesn't have the greatest experience there. Transfers here. Last year he's injured, misses the season. Doesn't even know if his career is going to be over. Applies to get a 6th year. He gets it. Now he's making plays in the opener.
A big 3rd down and 12 here. The defense trying to pick up their young quarterback who threw an interception on the first series. This crowd trying to get into it. Studsrud tries to run. Tautioli, the first man to hit him. And the defense holds up for the Utes, of the field goal unit coming on for North Dakota.
An interesting call there. You had success on a previous 3rd down conversion in the throw game, and you're going against a very inexperienced secondary. I would have loved to take a shot there. It looks like they're playing to make sure they can get the points on drive number 1.
So a 33-yard attempt here from Reed Talbot-Heim, the 4th-year starter from the left hash, out of the hold of Stetson Carr. And he's got it up and through. So the defense holds, but North Dakota takes an interception and turns it into 3 points, and they have the lead. Pac-12 football is presented by Mitsubishi Motors, a century of innovation. Dr. Pepper, the one fans crave. And by 76, we're on the driver's side. So a 3-0 North Dakota lead. The boys at Sigma Chi not thrilled. A late arriving crowd, but we expect to sell out, standing room only tonight. A 3-0 score as North Dakota intercepted young Tyler Huntley. And there is Reed Talbot-Heim, who converted, and now will kick away for the 2nd time to Kyle Folks, and for the 2nd time he will not have a return. For more on what happened on the sideline after that interception, back down to Jill Savage.
Yeah, Guy and Yogi, I think that was a big question coming in. How would Tyler Huntley deal with adversity? Unfortunately for the Utes, they got that there on the first series. He came off the field and he was very positive. He took off his helmet. He said, guys, we got this. He went over to the offensive line, to the wide receivers. He was calming everybody down, trying to stay very positive on the sideline. So a good start here from the leadership perspective from Tyler Huntley.
That's a great report, Jill. And when you look at this young man, it's going to be about the pace plays. That stands for plays after critical errors. How does he bounce back? What's his bounce back quality? They loved it in training camp. We'll see how he does here.
He hands it off into the gut of Zach Moss, and the offensive line. One return starter creating space for him. Only Celestia Uatafe is back after replacing a first-round pick. 4 overall draft picks gone from this line. Here's the other kind of pace. Moss again keeps it and nearly loses it. Keeps his feet. Gets a block from the quarterback Huntley and picks up a first down.
I think they've done that one a couple times before. Maybe back at Hallandale. Look, they're going to run the zone read a lot, Tyler Huntley. It's a reason he won the job, because of what he can do with his legs, the threat that he can be. And finally, a healthy Zach Moss. Remember, he got banged up a year ago.
Added 5 pounds of muscle since. So this is C.O.C. Wilson complete. He breaks the home tackle. Another, and it takes 4 to bring him down out to the 41-yard line. So how is he going to look after a mistake? Pretty good to his offensive coordinator.
Troy Taylor doesn't script his plays. That he goes on instinct. He goes on feel. They've got their concepts they want to run, and at times they'll go tempo, at times they'll slow it down, at times they'll have a little sugar huddle, which is kind of when the receivers get together and the O-line gets on the offensive line. Variety of different tempos you're seeing thus far in this drive. 3
tight ends on the field right now for Utah. Moss again running behind 2 of them, and Holm gets his headed there for the stop along with Carter Wilson. Troy Williams, we mentioned the starter. He was named, you see the C on his chest, a captain just a couple days before he was not named the starter, and so he still plays a critical role for Kyle Whittingham's team.
Well, roommates, when they travel, he and Tyler Huntley is on the cover of the program today in the stadium. A really incredible young man when you look at his journey from Washington, Santa Monica, junior college to here.
Huntley inside to his high school teammate Damari Simpkins, another broken tackle, and he makes 3 yards out of where it looked like there wasn't much. So we said Moss and Huntley, the high school teammates. The third of that Hallandale trio is Damari Simpkins, the true sophomore.
Now this is only his 3rd year ever playing wide receiver. You know, he's a quarterback all the way up until senior year, transfers to Hallandale High School with Tyler Huntley to play there as a wideout. Then he comes here last year, true freshman plays. He's finally learning the nuances of the position.
A 3rd down and an offsides. That's Jake Disterhopt.
Offside. Number 48 of the defense unopposed in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
You know, you practice so much in training camp. You know, this year training camp was a week earlier, right? So you get all of those practicing. We were here in Salt Lake City for camp, and you go against yourselves, but you can never really find a rhythm, specifically on the offensive line, till you get in game mode. So the screen mode, whether it's the tempo, the snap, you see all the communication happening now among those front 5.
A tight end to the other side of the line. Here is Moss looking for the first down, and he's got it. Breaks across by a hair of the 30. And this is a much more settled drive for Utah after they struggled to protect Huntley on that first drive.
You know, it's interesting, you know, Salt Lake City, they've got such a rabid fan base. I swear they have like 100 radio networks. They talk football all year long. And everybody's talked about the passing game, but this is still going to be a team that's going to be physical and run the ball. And they want to be able to instill their identity on top of you when you can run the rock.
With 3 tight ends, Huntley looking to throw. Good protection. There's Carrington, and he overshoots him by that much.
And this is a miss from Tyler Huntley. You'll see it right down the middle. See tight end running right down. He wants to go to Carrington. Yes, he's open. He could have made that throw, but he had a touchdown much earlier to his tight end. I believe it was Jake Jackson right down the middle, or it might have been Samson Dakota.
Remember last time what happened? Carrington was in the corner of that end zone. I showed it to you at the top. Here's Huntley. This is Carrington again. Carrington slips away from one defender, and it's going to take 3 men to bring him down at the 25-yard line after a pickup of 5 yards. So Kyle Whittingham said, we're not going to be 50-50, but we want to be balanced. So what does balance mean, Yogi?
Well, I think when you look at the Pac-12 champions over the last couple of years, they run more. UW last year, 55% run, 45% pass. Stanford, when they won it the year before that, 64% run, 36% pass. Even Oregon, 57% run to 43% pass. So they're still going to run the rock because that's what championship teams do.
Third down, and it's McCormick. Got a nice block from Simpkins, another from Moss, and another from Wilson to the end zone. A flag is down. He is marked out of bounds at the 2, but there's a flag back at the 14-yard line. For the moment, he was shy of the goal line.
Holding, number 80 of the offense, 10-yard penalty. Down will be repeated.
So only 2 of those 3 blocks that I said were nice were good.
Yeah, that's C.O.C. Wilson. You'll see it on the sideline. The receivers, there's a rule. No block, no rock. You can't hold. The other's first block you see from Simpkin. Nice little block by Moss. And right there, that arm outside. DB trying to fight away from it. And that's just what you learn with experience. C.O.C. Wilson, redshirt sophomore. Big time future here. Big time wideout, in my opinion, as he's developed within this program.
So third down, just inside the 20 for the first. Huntley with an empty backfield. Throws it to Carrington again, looking for blocks, holding the ball in one hand and losing 2 yards.
And again, you go back to the offensive line. You know, those inside screens, they're really hard to run if you can't sync up with your offensive line. It's such a timing hit. Huntley shown his unique ability, right? Can throw off his back foot. He's got a variety of different throws in his catalog. But in the screen game, you've got a target on the move. Missed a couple blocks. Carrington can't get loose with the ball. All of a sudden, would have been another turnover.
So Chaden Johnston won the kicking job and the right to try and replace the 4-time All Pac-12 kicker Andy Phillips. This is his first ever kick from 45 yards out of the hold of Wisniewski, and he did not get it. Wisniewski put it down, but Johnston couldn't put it through, and so that's right where North Dakota will take over. Wide to the left, 3-0 North Dakota. 3 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in the first. Utah about to get the ball trailing 3-0. Yogi, let's look at Tyler Huntley, the young quarterback's game so far. He's now thrown more passes in this game than he threw all last season.
Well, I'll tell you what I love is how he bounced back. You know, his pace plays after critical errors. Throws the picks, comes right back, drives him down the field, misses on a touchdown attempt. You got to convert those in the red zone. That's a huge reason why he's playing quarterback, but he's going to learn. It's his first quarter of major college football.
He's got Darren Carrington at the bottom, and instead trying to get it to McCormick. Throws it into the back of Uhatafe, the captain on that front offensive line.
You know, 4th screen by this team thus far early in the game, or type of throw. If it's inside screen to Simpkins, screen to a back. And I really think they're hard place to run with an offensive line that's new and trying to figure themselves out.
As Harrison Handley in motion, the tight end. Moss and McCormick the backs. Carrington off the field. Huntley keeps it, weaving his way. He gets 3. And so it'll bring up third down at about 7.
You know, the challenge is you want to say maybe as a Utah fan, man, I want to see them open it up right now. Well, the front 4 of North Dakota is getting into the backfield. It's not like there's a lot of time back there for Tyler Huntley. So looking to see how they create a chunk play conversion here on a third down. Carrington at the top of your screen.
Huntley, flush from the pocket. He's going to throw on the run, and it's Carrington who's got it. And that is a first down. $14-yard pickup.
This is exactly why he won the job. It's the scramble ability. It's the second, third reaction throws. Tyler Huntley probably at his best on the run thus far early in his career.
With his newest teammate getting the majority of the focus in the pass game. This is Zach Moss getting around the edge thanks to a block and getting ripped down of bounds by Disterhop across midfield at a 15-yarder. These receivers are really blocking.
Well, we saw the focus of them. You see at the bottom of your screen, Darren Carrington, right? This is a guy known for his big playability. Those are little things that are necessary. Guy Holiday, wide receiver coach.
Moss again, and 8 yards on that carry.
But back to this receiving core, even when Carrington got here, it wasn't as though he started day one with the ones. He had to earn it every single day. And the way you earn time as a wide receiver is the things you do when the ball isn't coming to you. It's can you block for your other receivers? Can you block downfield? Can you run a backside post route? He's done those things exceptionally well thus far tonight.
Howard, the running back in the game, but he's going to get his first carry. A trick play. It's Folks coming around the edge, looking for a block, and he gets 2 from C.O.C. Wilson out to the 25-yard line. A 26-yard gain. Check that 16, Yogi.
Check at the top of your screen, C.O.C. Wilson, the very top. Look at the patience from number 80. He's just going to hang. You got to wait. As a wide receiver, the hardest things, you want to go chase the cheese. You want to go do something, he just waits. You play basketball right there. Looks like Jakob Poeltl right there. Nice little screen.
Jakob's in the house tonight. Some of his former Ute basketball teammates. Jordan Howard again ripped down. A 2-yard gain. Great for the young man who just got a scholarship 2 weeks ago. Number 26, Jordan Howard. It's just remarkable that he's on the football field after being shot in the eye while he was in high school.
Remarkable. A chance to converse with his mom, Gail, throughout preparation for this, and for him to be here, let alone be on scholarship, let alone play in front of 45,000 people. Are you kidding me? What an impressive young man. What a great story and inspiration to everybody in college football.
Armand Shine injured in fall camp, and so Howard is the backup running back on the depth chart. Here's Huntley, who pulls it down, gets a block from Carrington. A flag comes flying in. Yeah, that might be in the back.
Yeah, that's going to be on Carrington. And there's so many perimeter runs. You know, those are east-west type of runs. And for receivers, they're hard because defensive backs, the minute they see run and trigger, they're going in the backfield. All of a sudden, their back is faced you. And you got to make that decision, kind of like on kickoff return. Do I just put my hands up and not do anything? You're waiting. All of a sudden, you see the trigger.
Number 9 of the offense, 10-yard penalty. Second down will be repeated.
Nice job by Torrey Hunt, sophomore corner. Played last year as a true freshman. How about him? Torrey Hunt from Alabama finds his way to North Dakota.
That's not common on this roster. But it's a very active passing league, the Big Sky, and so you need active defenders, and Hunt is a long one. Here's second down and long. Huntley, there is Carrington again, and Carrington very near a first down. The mark is right on the line at about the 15, and this is very close, so that's how the first quarter ends. And so North Dakota has played the game so far that they wanted, and after 15 minutes of action here in 2017, it's Utah trailing 3-0.
Do it every week, a little storytelling session. University of Utah Communication Schools, they were incredible. The questions were awesome. I'll tell you what, guy, we got to be careful. There's a lot of students in that class that are potentially taking our spots here. Hopefully just joining our network as we continue to hopefully be a part of every campus in a bunch of different ways.
Enjoying the start of this game as we begin the second quarter with Zach Moss getting stopped up by Jake Disterhop. Take a look back. The red zone has been such a struggle. Last year, Utah was one of the worst teams in the country at scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Just 50% of their trips. That was 115th on touchdowns. And you see there, just scoring overall was not much better. Here's a 4th and short, and they're going for it. This is something they did so well last year. It's Huntley keeping the ball, getting the edge, and into the red. Touchdown, Utah. The second rushing touchdown of his young career.
You watch the whole first quarter, and you're watching him run the zone read, and you're like, take it, it's there, it's there. All of a sudden, the defensive end playing upfield, the D-line's crashing down, he takes it. You know what? How about the excitement, the exuberance? And a late flag for a little excessive celebration.
A touchdown after the conclusion of the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 1 of the offense. This 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff.
I'll tell you what, I understand it's the right call. It is the penalty. If there's one time as a coach you're okay with it, it's when somebody who's earned the starting job over a captain who's a senior, struggled in the first quarter, comes back with his first big-time touchdown as a starter. Kind of say, okay, man, just don't do it again.
Matt Gay with the extra point. Tyler Huntley had 1 touchdown in the bowl game, and here he is, breaking the tape. So Utah with its first lead of the season after Tyler Huntley threw an interception on his first series. It led to a North Dakota field goal. He's been fantastic. 8 of 11, 74 yards passing, his second career rushing touchdown.
Love the pace. Plays after critical errors. You know, this position is about your bounce back quality. You're going to throw picks. You're going to lose games. But you're going to win games and throw touchdowns. Really nice job by him managing specific situations. How about the confidence of Kyle Whittingham to go for it on a 4th down?
He loved doing it last year, particularly early. This is Santiago, who maybe bails out Utah by catching that football, brings it up the field to the 30, and he's ripped down at the 35, so the exact same place it would have been if it was out of bounds. Let's go to San Francisco for a studio update from Mike Yam.
All right, guys, the studio update is brought to you by Mitsubishi. And yes, Yogi, I know you love ball, so we'll show you a little Big Ten action here. It's Minnesota and Buffalo. Connor Rhoda to Tyler Johnson, taking off 61-yard touchdown. Right now, Minnesota on top, 14-7 in the second quarter. Keep in mind, this is a Minnesota squad that will match up against Oregon State next week.
Well, they had such a great game when they met last year, Oregon State and Minnesota, early in the season. So how does North Dakota respond? Studsrud to throw, complete. It's Wanzek for a gain of 9. Noah Wanzek, the true sophomore.
Chase Hansen. People curious about how much he would play. Would he be healthy? He does such a nice job for this team. He can play everywhere. We're a former quarterback here. Played quarterback at Utah. Made the transition. Met with him yesterday, said he feels good.
He said he loves that people wonder if the secondary can match last year's production. Second down and short. Brady Oliveira is the deep back. Studsrud gives it to him, and Oliveira is stopped up, and then forward momentum. He's able to get across for the first down. Chase Hansen means so much to this defense, and he's been banged up in his career, but the fact that they got him back in time for week 1, so big.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think his injury in training camp is a blessing in disguise, because Corian Ballard has to play a lot. Look at a bunch of these people. Marquise Blair, the transfer from Dodge City Community College, has to play a lot.
Studsrud can't connect with Mercer, and that's the freshman Jalen Johnson in coverage. You take a look at Hansen, those 90 tackles last year. That's a spectacular number. It led the team. He also recovered 4 fumbles, which was second most in the country.
Well, I tell you what, I think one of the funnest positions in the Pac-12 that doesn't get a lot of love is linebacker, strong safety here, because the D-line's so good. They're going to clog, they're going to hold holes, they're going to hold the point of attack, and you just got to make plays. You can't miss tackles. 22, one of the surest tacklers in the conference.
Here's Santiago around the edge. Jalen Johnson, the much anticipated freshman. They've been waiting to see number 7, the U.S. Army All-American here, a top 10 cornerback recruit and an immediate impact player. And speaking of Chase Hansen, when we met with him, he said when he saw Jalen Johnson, he thought, what junior college did you transfer from?
He is a star. DBs have come out of Fresno, that community, for a long time. Central East High School. He's another one of that lineage, and it's a huge get for Utah because it proves that they've arrived in major college football to land a recruit like that.
The third down jump is on. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Studsrud, and unable to hold on is Toivonen, as Studsrud was able to get it away.
This is great right here for a true freshman. Jalen Johnson, patient, knows where the sticks are. Then he trusts his closing speed, makes a play on the ball late. Now, granted, if you're in North Dakota, you got to make that play if you want a chance in this ball game. But the ability for Jalen Johnson to sit there flat-footed guy, that means he says, you know what? I am a star. I am a stud. I've got confidence in myself in this back end that no one's going to run by me.
Dusel to punt it away. And Booby Hobbs back deep. A flag is down. Hobbs fair catches at the 10-yard line. And is this going to be in the range of roughing or running into? Marquise Blair pleading his case right now. The flag is back at the 34-yard line. And he might be saying, I got pushed.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker. Number 13, the receiving team, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, it's their 5th unforced error. You know, I get how he's pleading his case, but you got to know in college football, and it's a lesson for him. It's a great lesson. Hey, welcome to major college football, man. You can't be close there. It's the same thing in targeting on defense. You can't be close. They're going to call it. You know, number one rule of officials every year when we meet with them is to protect the safety and the integrity of the game. You know, so they're going to go there all the time. I get Ute fans might not be happy with that, but you got to know when to pull back and all those elements. But for Marquise Blair, he's probably their most natural defender. He'll learn from that. He won't do another one the rest of the season, I bet.
So instead of Utah having the ball on the 10, it's North Dakota with new life on this drive, and they've got it at the 39. Brady Oliveira is the back. And Studrew's going to give it to him, and he slips away from one tackle, and Kylie Fitz chases him down again. Number 11 has been everywhere.
You know what's amazing about this defense? Okay, that play is not going to wow you and make a highlight reel, but the pursuit of this entire defense, it's beautiful. I mean, it's like art out there, man. I mean, they're holding the point of attack. Chase Hansen's pursuing from the backside. Sania Tautioli's coming from the inside. Kylie Fitz is retracing to make sure he can make a play. 3 yards, no problem.
Second down at 7. And there goes Oliveira taking it, sweeping around the edge and getting swallowed up. Kavika Luafatasanga wore 55 last year, the single digit now, but the same production.
He's a baller. You look at their last 2 games of the season last year, most productive player. 12 tackles in their bowl game versus Indiana. You go back and watch him early in the season, not that confident at that position. They were inexperienced. Now it's a strength of this team. Couple that with the defensive line, they can do what's called run-throughs. I mean, just trust it and go run to the spot, make a play. Luafatasanga, impressive.
3rd down and 6 after a gain of 1. The noise picking up. The Utes bring 4. Fitz gets free. Studrud gets away, looking for the stick, and he gets the first down. This guy can run. He's had 2 100-yard rushing games in his career, and he was able to find a hole.
He's an impressive young man. You know, this past summer he went to the Manning Passing Academy with pretty much the majority of starting quarterbacks in college football, and he said to stand around and work out with the Sam Darnolds of the world, the talented quarterbacks that are around the country, gave him a lot of confidence.
Fakes and throws into the flat. The fullback Norberg, who's caught by Hansen after a pickup of 2 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8.
You know, every week we're going to bring you some unique stats from PFF College, and Chase Hansen, week 1, he leads all defensive backs who are returning in the lowest passer rating. That means when people are trying to take shots at you, they do not find success when they're going up against number 22.
2nd and 8. They're roughing the kicker penalty. Gave North Dakota the ball back, and they're trying to capitalize. There's Santiago out of the backfield. He nearly steps out of bounds, and then he does. Corian Ballard stopped him. Hansen hit him after the whistle, but all good-natured there. And a big pickup makes it 1st and goal.
Yeah, nice job of Paul Rudolph. There's so much edge pressure coming. Such an active defense that, okay, we're just going to attack you with a back out of the backfield. Santiago, he's a Power 5 athlete. Came in as a wide receiver. They didn't know if they'd play him a running back. They had a bunch of injuries. All of a sudden, he ran for over 1,000 yards.
His debut as a freshman, the first time playing running back, he went for 150 against Wyoming. He's standing beside the quarterback Studsrud now. Here comes a little bit of pressure. Studsrud throws, looking for that back shoulder fade. He told us it's one of his favorite throws, but he couldn't connect with Mercer. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson. You know, not only is he so big, does he have such great patience, it's his arms. There's such length there, and there's a theme happening now in the secondary. What a great angle right there. You see him with his arms, right? There's contact when the ball's in the air. There can't be any. For him to have the spatial awareness to let go and just make a play on the ball if it came to him, for a true freshman in the end zone, in the red zone, to me, that speaks volumes.
He's on the running back Oliveira at the bottom of the screen. 2nd and goal. There's some noise and some confusion on the line. Studsrud, he wants to run it. He gets a block, puts his head down, and it'll be 3rd down and goal at the 4-yard line.
Design run. Nice job by the center. Patrick Rooney getting to the next level, putting a body on Lua Fatasanga, getting him inside the 5. And I'll tell you what, you're down near here, the Muss. It's sold out, standing room only, guy. And see if you can make a goal line stand on 3rd down.
Strength against strength. Will North Dakota try to run into the heart of this defensive line? It's Oliveira, the Thunderback, beside Studsrud. He's looking to throw. Whistle blows it dead. And maybe good for North Dakota because Blackman was all over it.
Before the snap, false start, number 78 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Tell you what's hard is when you have a quarterback with the functional football intelligence that Keaton Studsrud has, you know he can get you in and out of plays. But when you ask offensive linemen where it's really loud to wait and wait. Now, granted, it's 5th-year senior A.J. Stockwell. No excuses down there. He calls a great play. It's going to be a corner route and a slant inside against man coverage. Great audible. But when you get down, you can't ask those big guys to hang and hang and hang.
9 yards to the goal line. Studsrud shouting instruction as the play clock winds down. He's going to have to hurry. Bubba Schweigert racing down the sideline to call a timeout. That's the first used by North Dakota. And so we'll step aside. A big 3rd down upcoming
on the field
for the Fighting Hawks. Let's look at the young man from South Florida with a big smile and a nice day so far, despite the interception.
He got going early, you know, found some of his receivers, got going with his legs, got a bunch of different weapons on this team. The receivers are trying to prove a lot as well. And then this is the threat, right? This is the ceiling. They liked him more than Troy Williams in the zone read quarterback keep game because of his athleticism. What I like most about it, though, honestly, is after the pick he came back and led him on a drive. Now, the reality of this game, which is what we're seeing right now, is this is not a traditional spread team going back and forth because of what North Dakota is doing on offense. They're taking possessions away. You know, you're not going to get the ball like you would in a traditional Pac-12 spread offense game. It's just not happening because they're chewing up the clock. So when Tyler Huntley has the rock, when they have their possession, they got to make the most of it starting here.
He's got it, and he pitches to Moss with 3 receivers blocking for him, and no flags. That time the receivers putting their hands in the air. All good, Raylan Singleton says, and a nice gain on 1st down.
Well, the thing to remember, too, you know, I could always remember playing that first game of the season as a wideout. You want to do so much. You visualize. You thought about making plays down the field, blocking well, and you hold a little bit, you grab a little bit, you talk a little bit. And that happened in the first quarter, and they've settled in.
Quick throw. That's Carrington. 1st down. More blocks. Carrington across the 40 to the 44-yard line. Just shy of the 45. A pickup of 12 for Darren Carrington. He's been targeted a lot, and he's caught nearly every one. See the offensive coordinator, Troy Taylor, led the #1 FCS passing offense at Eastern Washington last year with the head coach Bo Baldwin, who's now the offensive coordinator at Cal. Here's Moss once more, and that time Cole Reyes, the All-American safety, got the first hit on Moss.
Cole Reyes is going to be playing on Sundays. You know, they don't get scouts there all the time in North Dakota. They've had scouts there multiple times just in training camp to watch his ability. He's been a 4-year starter. Started every game he's been available his entire career.
6'2", 195. Huntley on the run. Another first down. C.O.C. Wilson to the 40-yard line. The 39 is where he's marked.
You know what's happening now? They're attacking the edges. They're setting up a seam throw. Huntley on the move. This is where he's at his best. Second reaction type play. Because they're attacking the outside and the perimeter and the throw game, guy, look for Harrison Handley, one of these tight end type players down the seam.
Jake Johnson, the tight end, comes in to block in front, and he's leading the way for Huntley. A sidearm throw complete. And nice catch by Jackson for a pickup of 3. I believe that's officially off platform.
Officially. You know what's amazing about Troy Taylor and his offense is that when he was coaching at Folsom High School, he literally had a class, 6th period, that was all about offensive football. He went around the country and studied from guys like Chris Peterson, Chip Kelly, all across offensive minds, Mike Leach. And what you see in his offense is that play right there is a great example. That's an old school West Coast offensive play. At times you'll see spread.
Huntley and Singleton can't bring it in, incomplete.
But the variety of this system is really unique. I mean, not a lot of coaches get to literally have that type of class where every day for over a decade you get to practice and tinker with your system. It didn't help when Jake Browning was his quarterback, but when he got to go to Eastern Washington a year ago and then come here, he said he got to kind of put it all together and to see it work. And it's a system that quarterbacks really enjoy and receivers absolutely love.
A 3rd down at 7, but a whistle, and North Dakota is going to use its 2nd timeout. Troy Taylor.
North Dakota has taken their 2nd timeout of the half. 30 seconds in duration.
48 years old, calling his first FBS game. He was a great player, however, at Cal. He was a fantastic quarterback, set records that stood until Jared Goff broke them. Then he was in New York with a friend of yours, Pete Carroll. Then he was Jake Browning's quarterback coach beginning in 5th grade, and then his co-head coach at high school, and then last year the offensive coordinator, QB coach at Eastern Washington. I think what's important is he's not just a play caller, but he was a quarterback coach. Every weekend he'd coach 50 kids. I say he was the instructor for Jake Browning going all the way back to 5th grade. So he's also coaching the position as well as the offense.
Yeah, it's interesting. And a Utah game years ago is what really started him studying offensive football. He watched when Urban Meyer was here and said, man, what are they doing? I got to go find out. Came to visit and kind of began the master class for himself.
A big 3rd and 7. Huntley is going to try and get to the edge. He's tripped up by Disterhopt as he got to about the 33-yard line.
And they're going to go for it. I mean, this is 4-down zone. Already a missed field goal earlier. The way that it works from Kyle Whittingham as the head coach, a lot of people are asking, okay, what's the communication going to be like with Troy Taylor? Well, it's all about specific situations. Hey, you got 4 downs here. This is a 4-down zone.
Need the 29. Huntley with flags. Everybody stopped on the offensive line. Huntley then got hit. Another flag came in separately as he tried to connect with Singleton. Most of the line didn't know the ball was snapped, and that was dangerous.
Well, opportunity for a free play. You know, you teach that at quarterback. Free play, you got to go.
There might be a roughing on top of, let's see.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, number 92 of the defense. This penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 92 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's Tank Harris.
Yeah, and for the North Dakota fans, he didn't really hit him that hard. Well, the indicator for the official is that you have to try to pull up and avoid the collision. Didn't happen there. They're going to call it every time.
The referees look to see, did you show me that you tried to stop? And it looked like Tank Harris was caught in between. 2nd red zone trip. They scored on the 1st. Huntley taking a shot into the end zone. And this time Carrington scores for the good guys in the building. His first touchdown in red.
Check out the top of your screen. It's going to be a post corner. Great job selling the route. Tyler Huntley waits, patient, gets the ball out on time. This offense is built on finding space. Carrington finds a space. His quarterback drops a dime.
And he took a hit. There's Matt Gay, who made the first point after, has not attempted a field goal yet, but he's 2 for 2 on extras. And Tyler Huntley throws his first career touchdown pass to Darren Carrington. And the Utes offense is on track. Tyler Huntley to Darren Carrington. This is what they imagined when they added Darren Carrington and then named Tyler Huntley the starting quarterback. You take a look at this scoring drive presented by Buick. Helped by that roughing the passer penalty. 8 plays, 75 yards in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And so Mitch Wishnowsky handling the kickoff duties, sending it deep and out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And let's go to San Francisco once again for a studio update from Mike Yam.
All right, Guy, it's brought to you by Gatorade. We got an upset alert. All right, I'll pump the brakes just a bit because it's still the first quarter. Second-ranked Ohio State matching up against Indiana. That's Ian Thomas. Yeah, foot down. He is in good shape. And are now the Hoosiers on top of the Buckeyes. It is a 7-3 count.
Look out. New head coach there.
It's early in the year. We'll allow an upset alert on that.
Hey, man, it's
on a Thursday
football.
night.
Let's go. It's getting dark. You know, it's about to come out. Pac-12 after dark. Big Ten after dark.
Here's Santiago on the pitch. First down from the 25, and he gets right back to the 25. And North Dakota had to be thinking upset, not just when they took the lead tonight on a field goal, but all week long when we talk to these players, when we talk to these coaches, a very confident group. They've done a lot of winning. They won 9 games to finish out their season, went into the FCS playoffs last year, picked to win the Big Sky this year. This is not a team coming in afraid of the situation they're walking into. Second down. Studsrud moving the pocket. Blair on the blitz. Studsrud throws with Fitz right on him. Out of bounds to live for another down. It's 3rd and 10.
Talked to John Santiago earlier this week, and he said exactly that, guy. He's like, look, we're going to test Utah. We're going to bring it right at them. You know, the challenge is that you've got to be able to complete the ball down the field. I mean, you just have to, even if they want to win their division, as they shared the title a year ago, go far in the playoffs. I think you got to be able to convert. Here's a 3rd and 10 opportunity.
Tautioli, Luafatasanga showing pressure. They both come, plus another. It's batted down. The second bat at the line of scrimmage. Mokafisi, 45 there. Filippo Mokafisi, one of the captains of this defense.
I mean, look at the push. I mean, these guys are grown men, this defensive front. It's been going on for a long time here. Defensive backs were literally squatted at 10 yards saying, okay, you're not going to run by us. We're going to sit right at the sticks.
It's a tradition of toughness passed down from the generations. Hobbs pointing, yelling at his teammates to get away. Barton nearly got deflected by the ball, but it missed him. And so it'll be Utah football at the 43-yard line. Coming up, the State Farm halftime report. Stick around. Mike Yam, Seaway, Nick Galeotti, Evan Moore, packed house. Back in our Pac-12 Network studios are the Sun Devils, a bowl team. We'll see them later tonight. And how about PJ Fleck debuting with Minnesota? That's all coming up. The State Farm halftime report. It's a good reminder. This is just the first game of a doubleheader. Darren Carrington's had a big night so far. For more, here's Jill.
Absolutely, he has had a big night so far. Everybody was wondering, how is he going to fit in with this Utah offense? I can tell you about half the team came up and gave Darren Carrington a hug after he scored that touchdown. Troy Taylor put him in his arms, and he had the biggest smile on his face. He is definitely well liked by his teammates, and you can see with the productivity that he's had already, it's a good reason why.
Well, it's been a long 2017 so far to get to this point where he's producing for Utah. Of course, the last time we saw him on the network, he was scoring touchdowns in the Oregon spring game. Arrested on DUI charge July 1, dismissed 2 weeks later by Willie Taggart. Joined the Utah program for spring ball, and as long as he completes a year-long diversion agreement, that DUI charge will be dismissed. Here's Huntley after throwing his first touchdown pass of his career, stiff-arming a defender and getting out of bounds and slipping down at stiff arm into Donnell Rogers. But Kyle Whittingham told reporters on Monday what he's been telling everybody, which is Carrington's been perfect off the field and obviously on the field everything they hoped.
Well, look, when you get the game potentially taken away from you, it changes you. You know, it's a sense of urgency we always see with seniors in college football. You're obviously seeing with him in his final year of eligibility, but also where he was going to play. And there's a phrase around here, you're either in or you're in the way. And if you're in the way, you are not part of this program.
Zach Moss, a first down, powering his way right through Disterhopt, who held on for the tackle.
You know, all of a sudden you start to worry about the quarterback keeping it. You see that at the end? The edge man on the line of scrimmage. That was Austin Cieslak. All of a sudden you give him a gap and the quarterback in the zone read gives it. Big game, first down.
Moss saying he wants to be an all-purpose guy. He's getting his shot. Here's Huntley, dumps it off to his high school teammate who's got great hands. Only had one catch last year. But when they were in high school together, he caught a ton of passes.
Watch this right now. This is the second reaction game. Okay, take the drop. There's some pressure. Let me find a crease, not freak out, know where my outlet is, and check it down to my old high school teammate. That's graduate level, man. You're going to have to do that in the Pac-12 conference because there's going to be layers of defenders coming as conference play creeps up on us here in the month of September.
Moss, the inside receiver of 4 to the near side. Carrington alone at the top. Plenty of time on the play clock for Huntley, who has not looked rushed at all since that first drive. And here he unloads, and Singleton loses his helmet. A huge hit. Tamus Stewart, the free safety. And Singleton collects himself, and it's going to have to come off the field for a play. Lose your helmet unless it's the result of a penalty. You're going to have to come off, but that was not a launch. That was not the crown of the helmet. That looks like a clean hit, Yogi.
That was clean all the way around. And I thought it was a great read by Tyler Huntley as well. Thank God nobody's hurt.
And now it's 3rd down and 3. Huntley keeps after a beautiful fake, and then he dives forward with plenty of yardage for the first.
This is a really nice job. You're going to watch the left guard, Salisi Owatafe. He pulls. You see the fake right there. He's going to follow. I'd follow Big 74 as well. It was a really nice job. Confident. Ball handling right there. Whoop. Jakob Pertl, man. Keep an eye on this guy. But an impressive job. And what I see in the last 3 plays, really, for Tyler Huntley, is that he's settling in. And in your first game, I remember my first game starting, it takes about a quarter and a half, and all of a sudden, you're doing your thing.
He keeps again after faking to McCormick, and a shoestring tackle is made there by Jade Lawrence.
I'll tell you what, Troy Taylor, this is an impressive drive. Think of the variety of play calls that have happened on this drive, from faking the run the previous snap to then the outside zone run with McCormick and a keep down the middle. They're just setting up plays. Keep an eye on Harrison Hanley right now, the tight end, at the bottom of the screen.
Almost 6 yards per carry for Huntley. This is Moss through a hole, takes a hit, spins forward, and that'll move the chains again. And this offense has just a calmness about it. You can't help but think that comes from Troy Taylor when you meet with him, when you talk to his players about him. There just seems to be this, you know, like he told us, he wants it to be like jazz. Like you said, he's not picking a play until 10 seconds before the play, and yet there's nothing frenetic about it, at least so far tonight since that first drive. Just over 3 minutes on this drive. Moss, and right there, Jade Lawrence again getting his shoulder in with a physical tackle, a reserve linebacker last year on a team that lost all 4 of its starting linebackers. A squad that was #1 in scoring defense in the Big Sky. They allowed just 22 points per game, which in the Big Sky is saying something. And they do that in part with that speedy linebacking group that's not huge. How do you think they're holding up against this Utah offense?
They're doing a nice job. I mean, this offensive line isn't necessarily getting to that second layer because this defensive line is holding the point of attack. But on this drive, a nice job with a misdirection game.
Huntley looking, plenty of time, end zone, and his high school teammate Simpkins couldn't bring it in.
But here we are, right? I mean, this is 3rd down, red zone execution, everything that this coaching staff, Kai Whittingham, has talked about, making the change on offense. Okay, how do they do here on critical downs and distances? You want to talk about getting to week 12 every year and being up for the South Championship, which has happened the last 3 years for Utah. You can't get field goals down here, so I'm looking forward to seeing the play call here on 3rd down.
You see there, 2 for 2 on touchdowns so far down here. Huntley's run one, and he's thrown one, and he's looking, and he throws it away. And Troy Taylor might be happy to see that.
It's a really nice job. He tries to go back to the well. Darren Carrington was at the top of the screen on another post corner. Nice job by the defense of North Dakota. They drop a corner into coverage. Evan Holm, nothing there. Live to another day. And that was a part that that was a reason why he won the job. Because it wouldn't try to force things. Once he started to do that in the last week of training camp, they said, okay, we can trust him in scenarios like here down in the red zone.
About a 33-yard attempt. This is the first field goal attempt for Matt Gay. Chaden Johnston got the first try at a field goal. He missed, and Gay puts this one right through. So he's got 2 extra points in the kicking battle, and he hits the first field goal for Utah of the night. A minute and 15 left in the second. Let's take a look at that last drive.
This is a big-time drive right here. This is full command. Understand where the line of scrimmage is, where the outlet is. Nice job, and away we go. Okay, next drive. All right, where's my receiver? Let me understand. I like the read. Got to make the play. Thankfully, nobody was injured. Fake the toss. Follow my big left guard. Okay, we keep it moving. Again, okay, another misdirection. I'm going to keep it down the middle now. Now you're wondering where number 1 is going to carry the football. And you just look at the frustration after that last run. That's saying, man, I could have broke it. That's saying, whoa, I'm finally comfortable. This kind of feels like Hallandale High School a little bit right now for this young man. And that's the vibe down there, I'm sure, with Jill on the sideline.
2015 Gatorade Florida Player of the Year. You won the Player of the Year award in Florida. You've been down there. You've seen the talent. That's saying something. And yet he was so under-recruited. He had 1 offer going into his senior year, 1 scholarship offer, FAU. And that all changed when Dennis Erickson rolled into town and said to Damon Jones, his high school coach, "Who is that? I want to talk to him." And Damon Jones told us that he had been so frustrated telling coaches, you got to look at this guy, and they would see him and say he's too small, that when Dennis Erickson said, I want to talk to this young man and I want to offer him a scholarship, Damon Jones was stunned. He said, great, finally somebody. And once Tyler Huntley came on a visit with Damari Simpkins, he was hooked.
It's impressive. I mean, and you got to give him and his family a lot of credit. Offered at South Carolina, Georgia, big schools in the SEC, and he said, no, I'm going to stay, and I'm going to bring the 2 best players on my team in the same year. That hasn't happened in Power 5 football, in our understanding, in the history of major Power 5 football.
Back to the offense for North Dakota, and this is Santiago running hard. Hansen brings him down physically after a pickup of 8 yards. Simpkins, Moss, and Huntley all on this starting set for Utah. There's Santiago.
That's what I love most about Tyler Huntley. Is a story his parents shared with us. When he's 3 years old, he's the quarterback on his team, and he keeps running bootleg after bootleg, keeping it. His coach says, you can't keep it anymore. If you do, I might have to sit you. And he says, you know what, I'm going to keep it again. Scores again. 3 years old.
Right.
We're not surprised that he's keeping the rock here, guy.
Getting kicked out of leagues, playing flag football at that age. 2nd down and short. 30 seconds remaining. North Dakota has 1 timeout here. Field goal range is about at the 35-yard line if they can get there. Here's Santiago, who's actually making things happen, looking for the edge, and he's going to get out of bounds. What an incredible run, and now a late hit. A flag comes in, and that could be a disastrous mistake for Utah. Corian Ballard.
That's a phenomenal run, first and foremost. Okay, you see Kylie Fitz, 11, squeeze, then 22, Chase Hansen. Okay,
after the conclusion of the
his
play,
sneakers are still there.
Foul. Late hit out of bounds, number 15 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So all told,
That's
it's
tough.
a 28-yarder. 18 on the run, 15 on the penalty.
That's a tough penalty. Letter of the law, it's a penalty. Again, we've seen these safeties, right? Marquise Blair, Corian Ballard, 2 penalties on both of them. 2 personal fouls. They're going to learn from this. Frustration from that one because he was jumping, he was diving at him. But if you're out of bounds, you can't have contact.
And now they are about within the edge of Talbotheim's field goal range. This is Mercer. Hobbs able to keep him in bounds. What a great play by Boobie Hobbs.
This is going to be interesting right now. 2-minute offense, 1 timeout, North Dakota. 25 seconds remaining. Got to move the sticks to stop the clock.
Studsrud against a 4-man rush, looking downfield and lofts it out of bounds to stop the clock. with 14 seconds.
And that's tough, you know, for North Dakota. You're down there, and all of a sudden you gave about 15 seconds because you didn't use your timeout, and you couldn't necessarily spike it.
Well, this is the previous play.
And a great tackle, Booby Hobbs. Been around, played a lot of football here. He's the #1 nickel. This is his 38th game he's played in, guy.
He's the only corner nickel that's had much experience on the field for Utah. 3rd and 3. Santiago is the back. Here comes Hansen on the blitz. He hits the quarterback Studsrud hard, and the pass is nearly intercepted, but Blackman couldn't hold on. Almost a spectacular play for the sophomore.
Studsrud, he wants this one back. You'll see at the top of your screen, Luke Fiedler, the tight end, is wide open for a touchdown. Utah lucky. North Dakota lucky they don't make an interception play, but North Dakota had a wide open touchdown to Luke Fiedler. The quarterback missed.
A 43-yard attempt for Talbotheim, who's hit from 32 and 26. This should be well within his range. And it's straight, and it's on through. So 9 points off the leg of the senior kicker so far in this game with 2 seconds left. Take a look back at the missed play here.
You'll see at the top of your screen the long hair there, Luke Fiedler, wide open. Now you got it. Number one, you say, okay, well, he missed. Well, it's because of the interior pressure of this defensive line. The 3 layers of this defense, as these corners continue to develop, continue to impress you. Chase Hansen on that last play.
Right up the gut.
But those are those opportunities. In this game, for Bubba Schweigert and this North Dakota team, they're still in it. I mean, anyone for North Dakota would take 17-9 at the half, but they had an opportunity there for 6.
And again, aided by a penalty. Utah's committed more penalties in this game than they averaged, just under 7 last year.
Well, it's either unforced error, right, where there was a pick, or multiple penalties that have led to all the points.
They've committed 7 in this game, so right at the average for 4 quarters last year.
And again, you go back to the unforced error stat.
Kyle Folks with 4.4 speed waits back. He has not returned a Talbottheim kick yet tonight. And this is short. Folks is going to get it anyway. He's got a couple of blocks across the 30. And North Dakota will have the ball first to start the second half, trailing by 8 points. They scored first after an interception thrown by Tyler Huntley. After that, he found Darren Carrington, and the two helped Utah take the lead.
Tell you what, really impressive, I thought, first half from Tyler Huntley. Bounce back ability, plays after critical errors. Looking forward to see what they do at half.
Jill Savage.
Coach Whittingham, a couple unforced errors here in the first half. How do you address that with your team?
Yeah, we're a little bit sloppy, a lot sloppy in the first half. We have to have nearly 100 yards in penalties, I would think, and just doing some undisciplined things. There's some positives, but that's a good football team over there. They're well deserving of their ranking, but we got to play a lot better. We're not playing very well.
The defense has had their heels on the goal line a couple of times, only allowing field goals. What have they shown you?
Yeah, that's very positive. The goal line defense and the red zone defense is very good, and thank goodness for that. Otherwise, it'd be a different ball game.
Thanks for your time.
Okay.
Guy?
All right, so a man with a lead, but a man that knows 2 tough quarters lie ahead. In the opener, a 17-9 halftime lead. We take you down to Mike Yam, standing by in the Pac-12 Network studios with a bevy of experts for the State Farm halftime report. Well, it was an explosive first half for the sophomore Tyler Huntley making his first start. His Utes have a 17-9 lead here at Rice-Eccles Stadium. North Dakota, though, did some good things as well. And Jill Savage caught up with head coach Bubba Schweigert.
Coach, you said your team would not be intimidated. What was the message to them at halftime?
Well, we're in this game. You know, it's really came down to 2 fourth downs. They score a touchdown on a fourth. Then we jump and give them a free first down on 4th down. So, you know, it's a either-or game right now. We're going to get the ball here, and we got to be more consistent on offense. We got to tackle better on defense.
Field goal so far. What do you have to do to get it in the end zone?
Well, we're going to have to probably throw it. They're tough to run on them, so we're going to have to find a way to throw it in the end zone.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Jill, take a look at the first half stats. The yardage heavily favoring Utah, of course, the yards per play doubling. The penalties for the Utes have been a factor. Of course, they've run 13 more plays, Yogi.
6 unforced errors have led to all the points by North Dakota. See if they can clean it up.
North Dakota won the initial toss in deferred, so they'll get the ball first here to start the second half, and they'll do it from the 25-yard line. What did you see from this Utes defense?
Kind of what you've become accustomed to. The defensive front has flown all over the yard. Kylie Fitz, Chase Hansen, Lo Lotulele. I mean, so many unique players have been flying on the football. A great pursuit that they've been accustomed to, but really what's been impressive to me has been the corners. It's the secondary of this team. Julian Blackman, Jalen Johnson, Booby Hobbs, guy who's been around, played a ton of football at the nickel position. That's been the curious question for Morgan Scala, the defensive coordinator, and now they're going to get tested, like Bubba Schweigert just told Jill Savage. The throw game is coming in the second half. How do these young corners adapt to repeated throws at their position?
It's been a struggle for Keaton Studsrud. Just 5 completions and 14 tries in the first half. That's Santiago in motion, a design run for Studsrud, and right there to make the tackle, Marquise Blair. Talk about pace for offensive players, Yogi. He committed a big penalty in the first half, and here he is aggressive to start the second.
It's going to be so fun to watch these players. Marquise Blair, he's going to be all over Keaton Studsrud in the run game. Marquise Blair, keep in mind, in 2015, he's denied admission to Syracuse. He was 5 credits short, so he's got to go to JC. He goes to Dodge City Community College. Utah finds the players, develops the players. They've done it here at safety for a long time. Marcus Williams recently departed to the National Football League. He's trying to fill that void.
A second down and nearly 10 here for Studsrud. Looking to throw, and he throws complete. The first reception for the tight end, Luke Fiedler, a couple yards shy of a first down. 3rd and short upcoming.
Fiedler finds the zone. Great patience. This is called a space play. West Coast offense. Bill Walsh originated it. Tight end just finding that little spot, and the man out of Orlando, Florida, oh, by the way, is a pet boa constrictor. Finds a little spot there, guy.
A 6-foot boa. 3rd down. Studsrud under pressure from Fitz, and he completes it to move the chains. Travis Toivonen, his 2nd catch. A 7-yard gain. He has 20 yards receiving for the 2 receptions. Luke Fiedler was fun to talk to. Getting ready for this game. Number 34, there it is. He says 6 feet or under, they're pretty tame.
A pet snake. I said, hey, do you kind of like sit on the couch and watch games with it? He goes, yeah, you know, you give it a pet every once in a while. Oh, thanks, man.
Grew to 8 feet, so he named it Zeus after adopting. Here's the give, and a nice play. There's your guy, Bradley Anai, tripping up James Johannesson.
Bradley Anai is the next star. Remember Nate Orchard, formerly Nate Fakafahua? He's that type of athletic player. Came in as a true freshman a year ago. You watch him against Arizona State. He's just using his athletic ability. You turn on the film right now throughout this game. He's utilizing technique. They can trust this young man. I think he's a star. Added 16 pounds in the offseason.
He's got big shoes to fill, taking over for the all-time sack leader here at Sack Lake City, Hunter Dimmick. Here's Fitz up the middle. Studsrud stands in, lofts it for Toivonen, who can't bring it in inbounds. Another great defensive play from Julian Blackman. And now we know why Chase Hansen's so excited for the rest of us to see the corners.
Oh, play quarterback for a second. Just imagine all that coming at you in your lap. Studsrud just stands in the pocket. Catchable ball. You've got to make those plays in games like that if you're Toivonen.
Another 3rd down, this one long. They need to get just about to midfield to pick it up. Oliveira in at running back. Six rushing. Studsrud looking. He's going to pull it down, and he's not going to get there. To the ankles went Tautioli to bring him down. And a fourth down punt situation. North Dakota unable to take advantage of having the ball first here in the second half.
Really like the play call. Man-to-man coverage to the back. Oliveira worked down the sideline, but the burst by Tautioli makes the play. That should have been a conversion for this team. Athletic play by the middle linebacker.
And the speedy Booby Hobbs is back deep. He's yet to have an opportunity. The punt from Dussault, and again Hobbs will fair catch right at the 15-yard line. So that will be where we see the Utah offense for the first time in the second half. 17-9. Utah leading here in the second half as they await their first possession of this third quarter. Welcome you to the booth with Yogi Roth. I'm Guy Haberman. Great first half by Tyler Huntley. After the first possession interception, he settled in. So what does the North Dakota defense do to counter?
Keep an eye on Cole Reyes, the safety, and Chuck Flowers, the other safety. I think they're going to start skying late. You got to try to disguise coverages. Tyler Huntley got way too comfortable in the run game late in that second quarter. I think right now they got to try to confuse this young man. See if they can slow him down a little bit in his comfort level.
Moss into a pile and a gain of just about one. 13 of 20. It is first start. Remember, he threw 7 passes all of last year. Rushed for the first touchdown of the night and then threw to Darren Carrington, who he caught the last touchdown in the building last year as a member of the Ducks. He caught the first touchdown this year at Rice-Eccles Stadium as a member of the Utes. Here's Huntley trying to set up that screen, and he's got it to Moss. Nice block. Uatafe, and Moss very near the first down marker. Disterhop pursuing and bringing him down a yard shy.
A really nice job by the offensive line. We saw him in the first quarter specifically try to really develop that screen game, and the targeting by the offensive line was off. On that last one, you saw the right guard, Jordan Agasiva, get out. A little patience by the back. They clean the screen game up, and all of a sudden you're third and short. That's what this offense is designed to do.
You mentioned at the top, but it bears repeating. It'll be something to watch all year. 4 players drafted off the offensive line, 8 players drafted out of the program last season, which was a Utah record, of course, in the draft in Philadelphia in April. Just incredible. Here's Moss again finding his way through a first down to the 31-yard line. You take a look. There's Uatafe looking like Cal Ripken. This is the number of snaps, and then everybody else way behind.
It's just the reality. But the thing was, we talked to Kyle Whittingham yesterday. He said, hey, when you watched the twos last year, his backup O-line, were you comfortable? He said, yeah, you know, I knew that we'd develop guys. And that's what championship teams do. It's called competitive depth. If you have that specifically up front, you got a chance to win the Pac-12.
Huntley to throw, complete. That's Darren Carrington. A career high for Carrington. 8 receptions and another first down. And now a late flag as he was hit out of bounds.
Yeah, it's going to be a personal foul, late hit there.
After the conclusion of the play, personal foul, late hit, out of bounds. Number 8, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Okay, forget the play. Nice play, nice job. Watch after he gets hit. This is the maturity that I really like. We know this guy. We've called games at Oregon. He usually would pop up, maybe pop off and say something. He hands the ball to the official. That, to me, is a guy that is bought in to the Kyle Whittingham way of you're either in or you're in the way. Gives the ball to the official, goes and lines up.
All in all, a 30-play sequence, a 15-yard gain and a 15-yard penalty. Huntley, the design run through a hole. What a crossover to the 30-yard line near another first down.
Hello, Division I football. Are you kidding me? Coach K, he liked that one. Whoop, see ya. Put that one on 12 best, man.
I've seen Steph Curry do that. That's about it.
But look at the comfort level, right? His first few runs in the game, they weren't like that. This young man, he's got a little lather. He's feeling good about himself.
Second and short. He's going to keep it again, averaging over 6 yards per carry. He's got space, looking for the pylon. It'll get pushed out at the 6-yard line.
Keep an eye on the left tackle, number 70, Jackson Barton. This is clinic worthy, okay? Right in your screen. Get off of me, man. I mean, that is a mauler right there at the left tackle. They've lost 4 guys in the National Football League. You think this O-line doesn't want to prove something? Yeah, great run, dynamic athlete, nice job QB. But that left tackle, he's an all Pac-12 caliber player. He's got a guy whose ceiling says, yeah, I might be able to play on Sundays.
Jackson Barton, 6'7", 310 from Salt Lake City. Here's Huntley giving to Moss. He's got it. Touchdown, Utah. And now they're firing on all cylinders.
You want to nerd out? Check this one out, man.
Teach.
Press the hole, press the hole, press the hole. Cut back side when it tells you to cut back side. Great job by Zach Moss, trusting his eyes, trusting the O-line, pressing the hole, putting that left foot in the ground. 6. Light up the Moss, man.
The 3rd career touchdown for the sophomore. And here's Matt Gay, 2 of 2 on extra points. He also has a field goal, 3 of 3. And now this offense is rolling. Moss is in, and the Utes score their first touch of the second half. Zach Moss with the rushing score, and Utah leads North Dakota 24-9. They once trailed 3-0. It is Pac-12 football presented by Mitsubishi, and we knew coming in all eyes would be on this team. How diverse would their offense look? What have you thought so far, Yogi?
I think it's been impressive. Now, granted, it's not impressive enough to say, okay, wow, this team is the #1 team in the Pac-12 conference based on how they perform, but it's week 1. I think when you look at the diversity of plays, the catalog of plays for Troy Taylor and the way his quarterback is operated. So, for instance, we're talking about the throw game where he's completed downfield throws, where it's been rollout throws, second, third reaction throws, naked passes to his tight end Hanley out of the backfield. Then you add in the QB run game, the run pass option game, the power game, and then all of a sudden the zone read game when the running backs can go backside. It's going to be really hard to gimmick them defensively. It's going to be really hard to change coverages, to sky guys late. You want to do that to a young quarterback, but because they can run the ball and he could do so well, all of a sudden you miss a gap and it's a big game.
So, second possession for North Dakota here in the second half. Santiago, the deep man in the eye, and he's going to get the first opportunity. Blackman right there. Donovan Thompson, the sophomore, with him. And Julian Blackman has had a very nice night after playing mostly on special teams as a freshman.
Well, this secondary, the competition continues. Julian Blackman, Jalen Johnson, Javelin Guidry, another true freshman, Casey Hughes, who's really spent a lot of time. He was a former running back. He played safety. Now he's at corner. And they're all fighting for these roles.
Second and 12. Studsrud, and Santiago dropped it. Hansen was bearing down on him, and now it's 3rd and long.
You know what's interesting? If you go back and you study Bill Walsh, he said the #1 thing he looked at for quarterbacks is he wanted them to have instinct. Chase Hansen's a former quarterback. His instinct, it's like Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp's probably a better athlete at UW, but Chase Hansen, his instinct tonight, his ability to trigger and all of a sudden understand where the ball is going before it's even thrown, he's done that multiple times. And you watch him on film, he's done it throughout his entire career playing this position.
Signed back in 2012 as a quarterback, and now patrolling the back end of the defense. 3rd down and 12 for Studsrud. Pressure coming, gets it away, but he can't complete it to Alex Cloyd, the backup tight end. And a 3 and out after a score by Utah. The defense strong.
Watch the 2 safeties. See, late they rock and roll. They drop a safety late. That's Chase Hansen. You see him chasing the ball. By him dropping late, all of a sudden this defense rotated late. That was hard on Keaton Studsrud. You saw him throw to where the defender was. Incomplete, 4th down.
Booby Hobbs back deep. And this one's going to drive him back, but he's going to have a chance to return it. He's not had many of those. Flag down on the block. He's got the edge. And he gets inside the 40 to the 35, but this is coming back. And he just found out there was a flag. Morgan Scally said, "You did what you were supposed to."
Yeah, that's the right play. That's Christian Drews, who's one of their best special teams players. 100%. You know, and that's when you got to just
return. Illegal block in the back, number 7 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down, Utah.
Utes still have the ball.
When we're recruiting, we preach family, and I think when you have that family-like atmosphere, the chemistry just clicks, and I think the success comes with it.
Well, the football championship game in the Pac-12 is the culmination of the season. Everybody's goal in the conference to reach that game, and Pac-12 is a very balanced league, and that's what everyone's shooting for.
The Pac-12 football championship game. Get your tickets now.
Pac-12 football is presented by Mitsubishi Motors, a century of innovation. Dr. Pepper, the one fans crave. And by 76, we're on the driver's side. Well, the Red Iguana is famous for the mole, and the crew partook last night. Although I thought the order of the night might have been our researcher, Ryan McGrady, who went double burrito with 4 eggs on top, Yogi.
Hey, you got to go big.
It somehow wasn't in a coma this morning. Here's the first catch for Utah's Samson Nakua. On the first play of this drive after the penalty moved the original line of scrimmage back to the 20-yard line. There's Troy Taylor. You see what they've done since those first 2 possessions.
That's going to be this offense all season long. It's going to continue to develop and evolve. I mean, you saw them in spring. They're way different than first week of training camp. Obviously, game 1 and even third quarter of game 1.
There's Huntley running and tied up by Cole Reyes, the FCS Defensive Back of the Year last year. We told you the All-American that has NFL eyes on him. This North Dakota defense, should be mentioned, is without another NFL talent. The second-team All-American last year, young man named Deion Harris, who was on Mel Kiper's top 5 senior cornerbacks board, injured in the summer, and that was a big loss for them in the secondary. There is Huntley complete to Damari Simpkins, and it'll bring up 3rd down and about 5 along 5.
This is where
Pardon me, Yogi, 2nd down.
This is where if I'm North Dakota, I'm going to keep skying guys laid down in the box. And Utah's really been hurting them in the quick game.
This is Moss again. Just scored a touchdown. Gets away from one man and gets pulled down by Reyes at the 45-yard line. A 20-yard gain for Moss.
He didn't get touched until yard 18. I mean, how about this offensive line? Just kind of, I mean, the first quarter, they got owned a couple times by this defensive front, or it was a stalemate in the second quarter and third quarter here. They're having their way.
Here's Moss again, a steady diet of the sophomore.
And I say that because when the quarterback runs are working like they have for Tyler Huntley in this offense, and he's going to keep it, and all of a sudden he might keep it around the edge, he might keep it down the middle, he might throw a run-pass option play. That defensive line slows down a little bit. Those linebackers slow down a little bit, and all of a sudden they're not pursuing to the run fits like they were early in the first quarter.
He is now over 100 yards, Moss, 102 on 18 carries. His career high for carries is 23 last year against USC. Here's McCormick. He's got a first down. Simpkins and Wilson blocking out for him. And that'll move it down to about the 33-yard line.
Remember, this offense, we talked about it to start the game. It's about finding space, getting the ball out to space. This defense for North Dakota right now, they're off a little bit. They're playing about 7-8 yards off. The safeties are about 10 yards. That means I can get the ball to the flat immediately. And if my receivers can block, which they've done a nice job all evening for Utah, they're going to keep checking it to their back on the swings.
Here's Jordan Howard getting the carry, and he finds space, steps through a tackle, and gets to the 25-yard line. We told you earlier what a remarkable story Jordan Howard is. The JC transfer redshirt senior, 23 years old, was shot in the eye when he was a junior in high school, just 16, with a number of friends, 2 of whom would die. He would go to the hospital, and doctors told him they would have to take his eye. But his mother, Gail, stepped in and said, no, that will not happen. Here's Moss, close to a first down. And after a month, another month, of not having vision in that eye. Doctors were afraid it would make his other eye blind. His left eye was the one that was shot. His vision came back, and he began to come back. Jordan did, because football meant so much to him, and he was able to get back and play football. Such an impressive young man. 20/20 vision. Even more impressively, earned a scholarship in training camp. An emotional moment for Kyle Whittingham, obviously for Jordan Howard and his mom Gail. His mom has a photo on her phone of her son after that incident, a reminder of how just a fraction of an inch life could have been different. Amazing. Two tight ends for Utah here. Howard is off the field as Huntley wants to throw, steps away incredibly, now lets it loose, and Harrison Handley got it
with a little shimmy. He's feeling his flow. He's vibing right now, man. Here comes pressure. All right, no big deal. I'm a second reaction player, man. Eyes up. Oh, later, man. Okay, eyes up. And a little sidearm action, a little sauce on that bad boy. I love it. You'll see him at the end. Beautiful dime. Great catch from one of his favorite targets. How about this right there? Looks like you guy there, shimmying a little bit. Well, he does it a lot. He's looking for reasons that Huntley, as this play is blown dead. But on a serious note, after the penalty.
Prior to the snap, the ruling of a catch on the preceding play is under review. Officials timeout.
So this is our first review, and we get to break out the new toy, the Pac-12 centralized replay. There you see Command Center in San Francisco, and Bill Richardson, Mike Ortiz, Michael Batlett, Leo Ruth among the men that will be in there looking at this. Now, they've been looking at this play since the moment it happened. This was something that was tested last year with Cal and with Oregon, but there is zero latency. They've got a 10 gig connection that gets them 3 looks at this play immediately before we've even looked at it. And what they want to see is, as Handley is going to the ground, does he survive the ground? He's got to maintain possession through the ground, because, Yogi, in my estimation, he was going to the ground when he contacted that ball. Yeah, this is going to be tough. Remember, it's got to be conclusive evidence to overturn it. As you said, guy got to survive the ground, and there's kind of this amount of time that they talk about in the officiating world of, does he have it for an amount of time that would signal that he has it and that he would be able to survive the ground? For me there, I wouldn't be shocked if they overturn it. I don't know if it's enough, because they did call it a catch.
After review, the ruling on the field will be reversed. The receiver did not maintain possession throughout the catch. It will be second down Utah at the 21-yard line.
So the reason they did that is that the possession of the ball wasn't maintained throughout that catch. The ball was moving independent of Harrison Handley. So that's David Lambros, and this is the interesting process now, right? It's David Lambros, the replay official here, Terry Lydon, our referee on the field, and then back in San Francisco in centralized replay command center, Bill Richardson's got a headset on. You can see all these guys with headsets. They're all talking to one another. This is a collaborative decision they reach. Ultimately, it was the replay booth here on site that has the final say in stopping, but they're getting help from everybody. And I got to say, Yogi, that was very efficient. Here's Huntley getting sacked by Tanner Pomberg. But I think one of the things that, talking to the folks around the Pac-12, Mike Ortiz, David Coleman, Vice President of Officiating, they're proud of how quickly they get it done, how quickly they look at plays that we never even see replayed and reviewed, because they feel they can get a look at it before we have to stop the game. Impressive job by that. What you love about it is how efficient it is, to your point. Okay, what happened? Let's review it. Let's talk about it. Make a decision. Next snap. Last year, 1 minute per review of the Pac-12, best in the country. Meanwhile, a third down and long here for Huntley, and he throws complete. Nakua with his second reception. That's down to the 14-yard line. Check out the eyes of Huntley. It's a pure progression offense when you're going 1 to 2 to backside to 3 to Nakua, who to me is one of the more impressive receivers. He stood out in training camp when we were here, but he easily could have taken a shot to one of his receivers in the end zone, but didn't. Trusted the progression of the play, a pure progression offense. Nice job by that young man. Put yourself in better position for 3. So here's Matt Gay on for a field goal attempt. He's already made from 33. This from 32 is true. And so Utah tacks on points, and the Utes now lead 27-9.
Utah once trailed 3-0. They've taken control here in the third quarter, 27-9 from 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining here in this third. Mitch Wisnowski handling the kickoff duties this year in addition to the punting duties. And of course, he's perhaps the best punter in the country. Not perhaps, he won the Ray Guy Award last year. Third straight year a Utah punter has done that. Tom Hackett, who said on his radio show here in Salt Lake that Mitch is better than him, won it 2 years in a row prior. And this is Santiago. He's going to bring it out, and he's in trouble immediately. And Cody Barton is there to bring him down at the 13-yard line. And for more on North Dakota, let's go down to Jill.
They have some very notable alumni there at UND. You might have heard of Phil Jackson, one of the greatest NBA coaches of all time. He went to North Dakota. They basically have an NHL All-Star team. Jonathan Toews, Zach Parise, TJ Oshie, many more. They're out of the NHL because they have 8 Frozen Four titles. That's a second all-time, only to Michigan's 9 championships. And I know all about the hockey presence there at North Dakota. I worked the World Junior Tournament, Brock Besser, everybody coming from North Dakota. They always have somebody represented on those teams.
All right, you're the hockey expert then, Jill. Here's Oliveira. And remember, Jill, we talked to Eric Schmidt, the defensive coordinator. That was a big year in 01 when they won that title because football won a championship, a D2 championship that year too.
You see 2 championships there for North Dakota in 1 year. He said the students really had it good back in 2001 at North Dakota.
I just think we have more two-sport hockey players on this team. They say often they will watch when they love multi-sport athletes at North Dakota, just like at Utah. And they'll go watch basketball, but they'll often watch a guy go play hockey. Here's a second down for Oliveira. Runs into the back of his fullback because Kylie Fitz was pushing him all the way into a tackle and maybe a short gain.
Well, Kylie Fitz last year, remember, he gets injured. He doesn't know if his career is over. A week after his injury, he addresses the team in tears and he says, you know what, guys, I don't know if my career is over right now. If it is, I wish that I committed myself even more to the craft. Thankfully for him in this program, he got that extra year, then addressed his team again, reiterated that message to the younger players, specifically on this defensive front. Not surprised to see his infectious energy carry over to the rest of that defensive front.
He's lined up at the bottom on the line of scrimmage, ready to cut it loose on third down. Here's Studsrud, sets up, he throws, complete. Wanzik a first down, and into space across midfield, down to the 35-yard line. Chasing him down, Hobbs, Blackman, and Blair. A 41-yard connection.
Probably the most impressive throw tonight out of either quarterback was, across his body, spot throw, only spot he can make it in front of Boobie Hobbs. Receiver does the rest. Noah Wanzik, huge game.
Remember earlier you said Wanzik's going to have to make some big plays for this team to get in this game.
Noah Wanzik, Damon Mercer, they're going to have to show up here in the second half. 2
tight ends to the right of the line of scrimmage for Studsrud. Now the running back Oliveira goes in motion. Studsrud is looking for Mercer. Mokofisi in pursuit. He somehow gets rid of it. Toivonen has it down to the 3.
This is an incredible play. Are you kidding me? It's almost as though Studsrud thought the play was over, thought it was dead. You see from the back, is he going to go down? No, I'm just going to keep making plays. That's why he led this team to a Big Sky championship, into the playoffs. He's got him knocking on the door as we end the third here, guy. Are you kidding me? How great is ball, brother?
What is going on with the North Dakota offense? They had just over 100 yards of offense before these 2 71-yard completions, back-to-back plays. This one 33, and your boy Keaton Studsrud taking hits and delivering.
And that's what he does. You go back and you watch his team, you study him from a year ago, you look at the Richmond game, you look at the Northern Arizona game. I mean, every time they've played or he's been banged up, he's kind of rallied his team, knocking on the door inside the 5. They got to come away with a touchdown.
As we begin the fourth quarter, they had 2 fourth-quarter comebacks trailing by double figures last season. They gave him the 2-yard line for that 33-yard gain. He's got Oliveira, the deep man, on the pitch. Oliveira stopped and stonewalled. North Dakota trying to find pay dirt for the first time in this game. Lotalele leading the way.
Think about it. They go 2 tights and say, okay, we're going to run the ball right at you. And Utah says, okay, go ahead. Lotalele, I mean, that's impressive. You look at this defensive line, Leki Fotu, Bradley Anai, Kylie Fitz. This is their comfort zone right here.
It is loud. A sold-out Rice-Eccles Stadium, the 45th consecutive sellout here in Salt Lake. The fake to Oliveira, Studsrud to the tight end, Fiedler, and North Dakota hits pay dirt for the first time, and they start the 4th quarter with a little momentum. They're feeling good.
Little tight end delay. They fake the pitch, retreats. Fiedler just sneaks behind that defense. Look, they said it during the week when we talked to these student athletes. They weren't going to be afraid or intimidated. Kick off the 4th quarter.
Question is, can they keep hitting those big plays? A 41-yard completion, a 33-yard completion on that drive. Taubenheim up and good. 27-16. North Dakota's not going away. Luke Fiedler, the redshirt junior. North Dakota just scored, but Crazy Lady and the Muss undaunted.
She's awesome. 67 years old. Terry Jackson getting after it.
I'm a little distracted.
I'm fired up. How great is the Muss? They are a blast. The only chance to be on campus the last couple days, and these students are just cranked up to come here. There's such a great pride as the sun's setting over Rice-Eccles right now. It is a dynamic atmosphere. I think one of the hardest places to play, not only in the Pac-12, but I think in the entire nation.
In part because of the Muss. Kyle Whittingham said when he showed up here in '94, the student section was 4 students and a dog. And now they're 45 straight sellouts, selling standing room only tickets before this one tonight. Utah is going to get the ball back after an 81-yard scoring drive from North Dakota. And this one's going to stay in the end zone. Back to San Francisco for a studio update. Mike Yam.
All right, guys, and this Mitsubishi studio update. If you think the fans in Salt Lake City are getting excited, the fans in Indiana right now have to be going nuts. Simi Cobbs has been balling out. 7 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. We're at the break, and how about this? The Hoosiers on top of the Buckeyes.
See, Mike called upset alert early on, and then he felt like he was being premature. He was right. Take a look at the top 10. Take a look at the AP. Bama, Ohio State, Florida State, USC. What do you think of where Washington is at 8 and USC is at 4, Yogi?
I get it. I mean, to me, preseason polls are kind of ridiculous. Look at Stanford. You know, they return pretty much everybody on defense, starting quarterback, majority of the receivers.
Troy McCormick, big play, off to the races, and pushed out of bounds at the 33. Chasing him down was Tanner Palmberg.
What's been so impressive tonight is the variety and the style of play calls from Troy Taylor. It's been downhill runs, it's been perimeter runs, it's been runs from guys like Troy McCormick, it's been inside zone runs, the running back Zach Moss, and the quarterback keeps. It's hard for the edge defenders.
This is Huntley again around the edge, and Dister hopped with a great play flying in for the tackle. Huntley has made some defenders look foolish tonight, but Disterhopt, who is into double figures with a career high in tackles, made a great play.
He's impressive. Back-to-back captain, played outside backer, they move him inside. Really gifted player, already graduated. The only player on the team to have already graduated with a kinesiology degree. He said he feels like the defensive coordinator knows the system so well.
It's impressive. He was not just a 2-time captain, a captain last year as a backup.
Yeah.
Which tells you what his teammates think of him. Zach Moss, who already has a career high 106 yards rushing, standing behind and now getting the ball from Huntley. Already has 1 rushing touchdown the night, and he pushes and bullies his way down to the 12-yard line.
This offensive line, for as much they struggled in the first quarter, they're finally finding their flow. Low Falamaka, and then gets picked up a little block there from Carrington. You could tell how important it is to block for this team. You can tell this team, yes, they've got a new look on offense. They want to take plays, attack space, chunk plays, but they're still going to try to be the physically dominant team that we know for the last 13 years with Kyle Whittingham.
Huntley into the flat. Jackson, the tight end, A flag is down in the end zone. And this is going to be against Cioce Wilson. Utah wide receivers blocking have committed a few penalties tonight.
Pass interference, number 80 of the offense, 15-yard penalty. First down will be repeated.
That's the 9th penalty against Utah, over 100 yards, almost 120 yards in penalties for Kyle Whittingham's team.
Situational awareness, you know, is really what it is. Running backs behind the line of scrimmage, when they check it down to their fullback, Jake Jackson, you're fine, but not when he crosses it.
Huntley looking and looking, and now he'll throw it. McCormick, Pomborg is there to make sure McCormick can't bring it down. And another flag is in here. This time the flag is down to the 21. Let's go back and look at the previous play. There's Wilson right there.
Yeah, a little contact there. Those are tough, but
Pass interference for a block downfield, number 11 of the offense, 15-yard penalty. Count.
second straight time that's happened. I mean, think about it. Explosive play, you're knocking on the door, momentum of this game, fourth quarter, back-to-back penalties on your wideouts.
They were at the 12. They're now at the 42. What play does Troy Taylor have in the bag for first and 40?
Well, this isn't easy.
I have a feeling Huntley is enjoying this challenge right here. Here he goes over the middle. There's Raylan Singleton, and he loses the football. It goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line. It costs him about 4 yards from where he would have been down as a receiver, and that moves the ball forward.
Think about the North Dakota defense done a really nice job keeping everything in front of them tonight. Okay, you want to take something inside, that's fine. Here's your 7-yard gain. We're going to come tackle you on the ball. Really sure tackling team, really sound team. If I'm Utah here again, that's where I attack though. I'm attacking crossing routes, I'm attacking underneath coverage.
That was Tyus Carter who came in to knock the ball loose. Here's Huntley again, and again underneath. This is Harrison Handley, the tight end. Another sound tackle. Chuck Flowers, the free safety who you mentioned earlier, would have to step up in the second half.
Chuck Flowers, first year starting, kind of waited his turn, but a special teams player. Got a younger brother. He's a freshman at Michigan State. Pretty talented defensive back as well. But I like the play calling. All right, just take what the defense gives you. That's what this thing is all about. It's about spacing. It's about taking time off the clock. It's not always tempo. You got to know how to manage the game as we enter 11 minutes remaining in this ball game.
And a 3rd and 29. Huntley looking. He has Carrington. He lofts it for him and throws it out of the back of the end zone. Unable to give number 9 a chance. And now it's 4th down.
And he'll want this one back because he should have gone right to Harrison Handley underneath again. You'll see him. He'll be at the bottom of your screen. Going to run another shallow cross right out the back door. Ball, right? You get a little greedy. You want to make a play. I understand it. But that's the game management that I truly believe at the quarterback position. You got to learn in game. You got to learn by going through that. Talk about it on the sideline. You learn from the tape because now all of a sudden it's a different length of field goal even if he catches it and gets tackled 7, 10, 12 yards down the field.
This would be 49 yards. Gay hit a 32-yarder earlier. This, of course, would be a career high, and he's got it. The former Utah Valley soccer player who hasn't kicked in high school since he was a senior at Orem High in 2011. Go get it. Utah leads 30-16 after Matt Gay's 3rd field goal of the night. Time to take a look at our fueled moment. We were looking at it in the booth here. I'm getting a little excited, Yogi. We'll look at it after the kick. Just more Tyler Huntley, which is good with me. Here's Mitch Wisnowski kicking it away. And that's out of the back of the end zone. All right, the field moment presented by 76. Let's get to it.
Well, this is all about the growth, in-game growth, the development of this quarterback, Tyler Huntley. This is early on in the first quarter. The ball should be out right now. It should be a touchdown to Harrison Handley. He resets, goes to his favorite target. Carrington overthrows him. They end up missing a field goal. Come back to the very next drive. A timing throw to Carrington on the post. That is the rhythm and the anticipatory skills that are necessary to make plays. Come back later in the drive. Completions into Nakua, and then there's the little swagger from Huntley. And when you talk to the coaching staff about this young man, they talk specifically about how he can connect with everybody, how he's fiery, how his unique trait is his competitive temperament. And guys rally around that. And you've seen that happen throughout. Remember, the third attempt of his career as a starter was intercepted. He bounced right back. A poor read there on the very next drive and came back, and it's kind of been a different story the rest of the game for him.
Keaton Studsrud with a Nye chasing, and he leaves it out of bounds and just out of the reach of Wanzik. Remember, North Dakota had two huge plays on their last drive that went 81 yards. They had a 41 and a 33-yard completion. This one just too high. I'll say this for Keaton Studsrud. There are a number of plays where you think he's going to get caught and somehow he gets rid of the football, although unable to connect there. So 2nd and 10. Mercer is the receiver bunched to the left. He's been quiet. There's Oliveira, the running back, out of the backfield, and there to bring him down. Casey Hughes with help from Sunia Tautioli.
North Dakota needs to continue to attack outside the numbers in their passing game, whether it's receivers coming from the slot or they're just going after these corners. In my eyes, that's how they're going to create some of these explosive plays. They're not having any success really inside the box, in between the hash marks right now. If they convert this, I start attacking outside, because now you got to work the clock a little bit.
3rd down and 1, and flags. Movement. Everybody pointing at everybody, and it's going to go against North Dakota. Terry Lydon.
False start, number 34 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It's the tight end Luke Fiedler who got that touchdown on the last drive. Bubba Schweiger told us the key for us would be we've got to be disciplined, do the things that we do well. Morgan Scally on the other side, the defensive coordinator for the Utes. Get a little help from the penalty, and a 3rd and 1 becomes a 3rd and 6. Five on the play clock. Now 2. Nice pocket for Studsrud, and there's Mercer, who makes the catch across the 45 to the 46, nearly in a 1st down.
Studsrud, he's an impressive player. I mean, you just look back at his career. This young man's always been making the right decisions. Great job of pocket awareness, climbing in the pocket, finding the right receiver. And this is a guy, he threw 5 picks in the first 2 games of his career, only 5 since then over the last 2 years. His decision making is understanding where the ball needs to go. Now the defense fits with the offensive scheme. This is as impressive as a quarterback as I think you'll see in a pro-style system.
That was the 2nd catch for Mercer, who was a big play guy last year, but he's been held down in that respect so far in this game. Studsrud flushed from the pocket, lofts it, but well over the head of Toivonen. He had Leki Fotu hot on his heels, and it's 2nd down. This team went 9-3, 8-0 to win a share of the Big Sky with Troy Taylor's Eastern Washington team last year. Went into the FCS playoffs as the number 7 overall team. This year picked to win the Big Sky, which is a big deal to them. When Bubba Schweigert arrived 4 years ago, he won 3 games, then he won 5 games in conference play, then he won 8 games last year, and now his team's in a new position, right, Yogi? Now people are expecting them to do it.
He really said when he got there, he goes, you know, I had to adjust and change the culture. Didn't take long. Got a $20 million indoor facility now, competing with anybody at that level.
2nd down and 10. This is Santiago and Leki Fotu, who's gotten an increased opportunity. Just 5 games last year as a true freshman, had just 1 tackle. This is a high school rugby player finding his way through.
This defense just comes in waves, right? It's Fotu, it's Bradley Anai, it's the linebacker, Tautioli. I mean, they just keep coming. And Morgan Scally, that's his energy. I can remember when he played years ago at this university, played the strong safety position. The energy he brought to the field as a player is very similar to what he brings as a defensive coordinator.
The third down jump, they're rocketing the muss again. It's 3rd and 13. Play clock winding down. 4-man rush. Studsrud looking, and he throws complete but well shy of the first down marker to Mercer. And is this 4-down territory?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But remember, this is a team that once in a while they're not afraid to pull off a fake either.
Down by 14 points here with 8:20 left. The problem is on the other side that Utah's been so tough to stop, Yogi, that the Utes have scored on 6 straight possessions. Booby Hobbs back deep. This one away from Dusold. A nice punt end over end, and he's held Hobbs mostly returnless. That's at about the 9-yard line. Utes offense coming back.
Welcome back to Rice-Eccles Stadium. Let's take a look at our Jimmy John's Freaky Fast player of the game, and it's Darren Carrington. It's not necessarily because of his wheels, but how quickly, how fast his impact has been felt on this team in the passing game. They talked about it all camp. Mind you, he hasn't talked to the media even once. It's been all about business. Under Kai Whittingham, this is his last opportunity. Transfer from Oregon, his impact has been felt incredibly quickly.
And now his offense is back onto the field after the punt. And here's Troy McCormick again, and he's once more finding space, but a flag is down. The run as it stands is a first down run, but this might be on Damari Simpkins.
This receiving core is going to be frustrated.
Holding number 17 of the offense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
11th penalty.
You got to, number one, you applaud the effort at the position, right? You'll see it at the top of your screen. When the DB is trying to pull away, you got to be taught, and you can feel it as a DB or as a wide receiver. You can feel when they're pulling. That's when you got to let it go, and you got to trust that the back will cut off of the movement of the defensive back. Frustrating because there's been a bunch of those on this receiving core tonight because you love the effort, but that's something that I truly believe you only learn when you go live. And so often now in training camp, there's not a lot of live tackling that happens, so you can try to get that feel and that sense.
So half the distance. Makes it first down and 15. This is Zach Moss pulling a foot out, but he's finished off. Jay Lawrence was the first man there, and then Steve Greer made sure that Moss didn't go far.
Okay, so right now, I get it. There's 7:30 and change in this ball game. But for this quarterback, for Tyler Huntley, it is about managing this game. You've got to master specific situations before you become a starting quarterback, let alone beat out a now 2-time captain Troy Williams. So looking forward to how he deals with the play clock here when they snap the ball.
He's going to keep it, and Disterhop brings him down at the 15. And so 3rd down. You're saying you want him to use all 40 seconds of the play clock.
I mean, he saved 14 seconds there, right? So now we'll see on this 3rd down to the decision by Bubba Schweiger to punt it. Will that benefit this team, or will they convert it here? Because now all of a sudden it's another minute. But if you're the quarterback and really the center, Lo Falamaka, that communication, that responsibility of looking at the play clock is critical.
Taking their time. Now 3 on the play clock as Huntley gets it away under pressure, and he goes down outside of the goal line, luckily for the Utes. And a big sack and a big defensive effort after the punt by North Dakota.
Well, the decision that pays off for Bubba Schweiger and his staff in terms of punting it. But there's a couple things you got to learn as a quarterback, and that's tough because they're coming at you. They're bringing pressure, they're bringing heat coming from different areas, but there's a couple rules. When you're in 4-minute offense, right, especially backed up, you can't be taking sacks back there. It's throw the ball away. It's go down forward. Those are things, again, you learn from experience in these situations.
It was Carter Wilson with that sack. Here is Santiago fair catching at the 43. Don't forget, coming up next, the second game on the Pac-12 network this season. Arizona State taking on New Mexico State. Roxy Bernstein, Anthony Herron, Lewis Johnson, I'm sure have been eating well as they get ready for that one. That's all coming up on the Pac-12 Network tonight, presented by Mitsubishi. See the quarterback, Manny Wilkins, 63%, 23 plus 100 yards. Kalen Ballage, 15 total touchdowns. A lot of them came in one big chunk. And of course, N'Keal Harry, talented offense down there. Arizona State's won 18 straight home openers back to 99. The last time they lost one was against the team they're playing tonight, New Mexico State. So here's North Dakota back on offense with a chance to really make the Utes sweat. Studsrud is able to get about 2 yards, 3 yards. He may have to come off the field, though. His helmet came off there.
Going to be interesting. Do they use a timeout? Use a timeout. You can put him back in. Doesn't look like they're going to do that as Brad Heidelbaugh comes into the game.
Heidelbaugh's attempted one pass. It was a touchdown. Second down and a long 6 for the backup quarterback, and he's going to set up to throw, and he gets sacked. Brought down by the transfer John Penasini from Snow College.
That's tough. I mean, bringing a backup quarterback in, I love the idea of throwing it. I probably would have gone a little play action pass to try to suck those backers up a little bit. Now you're back in 3rd and 10.
6'2", 307, and looking quick on that one. So Studsrud back into the game. They need to get across midfield to the 47-yard line. 4-man rush. Studsrud intercepted. Blackman has it.
Well, this play started before the snap. The safeties at Utah, quarterback Studsrud, they're audible and they're changing a dime by him. A perfect pass to Damon Mercer. Got to make the play. Ball pops up in the air. Defenders, they always say rally around the ball. You never know what's going to happen. Exactly what happens to Julian Blackman. Gets a pick last year. Only played on special teams primarily. Now he's fully in the mix at the cornerback position. They call him one of the most improved players on this defense. And he's long, 6'1", 187 sophomore. Big momentum changing play there for this team.
The first career interception for Blackman as Huntley gets tied up for a short loss. It'll be 2nd down and almost 11. But we go back, you should take a look at Blackman. You see Ruby Hobbs wearing number 1, Casey Hughes, a secondary that a lot of questions about them because of what they've lost. Almost every snap lost among the corners. Hatfield, Porter, Brian Allen was a 5th-round pick. You lose a 2nd-round pick in Marcus Williams. Jordan Fogle, grad transferred. Justin Thomas, a nickelback. But those who are around them every day in practice say, just wait and see.
Well, they're doing such a nice job of developing players. When you look at this defense, right? Nate Orchard, 3-star. Hunter Dimmick, a 2-star player. In the back end, Eric Rowe ended up getting drafted. He's playing in New England. All those guys are in the National Football League. Same thing for Julian Blackman. He was under-recruited. A lot of this team was. Bradley Anai, under-recruited. Now, all of a sudden, it's turning for this program. They're getting guys like Jalen Johnson, who could have gone anywhere in the country. They're getting Javelin Guidry, could have gone anywhere in the country. They've got recruits already committed for next year that could go anywhere in the country. So when you add in and combine the identification of long athletes that can play multiple positions, and now getting these 4- and 5-star athletes, this is why this team under Kyle Whittingham is going to be big time, and I think will continue to compete for a South championship for real, because they're getting some skilled players and they're kicking guys off to the NFL.
It was interesting. You asked Kyle Whittingham if he felt like that draft validated what this program is and what it can be, and he said yes.
1,000%. I mean, you look at who they're competing against historically, who's kicked off players of the league. Historically, how they've recruited, right? That's SC, that's UW, Stanford. They're a little different in how they recruit and evaluate, but overall, they're getting the top players. Utah is now doing that in this conference.
North Dakota took a timeout, and out of that timeout, Darren Carrington has a catch to match his number 9 to add to a career high in his first game as a Ute, already with a touchdown as well, and that gives the Utah Utes a first down.
We're going to talk about it all season long, but I believe each quarterback in critical games has to make at least 3 spot throws on critical downs and distances. This game's 30-16. They easily could have ran the ball there, but they didn't. You've got to train this young man to understand situational football in game, because you only get so many of them.
Huntley over 200 yards passing now on 22 completions. 31 attempts, a rushing and a throwing touchdown. Here's Moss, has a touchdown of his own. He goes down at the 18-yard line. And for more down on the sidelines, let's go back down to Jill.
Guys, I've been watching offensive coordinator Troy Taylor and the way that he was interacting with his offense throughout the game. He told us that it was going to take a while for this offense to come together, and he's just been teaching them up, talking to them. He's been cool, calm, and collected here on the sidelines, but I really liked what he told us in our meetings yesterday. He said this offense is a lot like jazz musicians when they get together and start improvising. He said at first, it's not great, but then they figure out what song they want to play together, and it gets really good. So I think give this offense a few weeks, and they'll start coming together like Troy Taylor wants them to.
Yeah, Jill, it's a fabulous point, because this offense is a feel offense. You know, go back and watch the Houston Oilers on YouTube with Haywood Jeffries, Warren Moon back in the day. It's the run and shoot. There's run and shoot elements, and that means you have to have a feel for where they're spacing, what the timing is like. And he told us yesterday when he was with the Jets, he learned from Pete Carroll that, hey, most teams, they try to play better on game days. Pete just wanted his team to play the same. He said he's told his offense the same thing. You look at the schedule, they're going to have to find that consistency within this system, specifically even when they go over to BYU.
And that'll be a big one. Meanwhile, Huntley swallowed up here on second down and sacked. A nice play made by Donnell Rogers, the redshirt sophomore inside linebacker. But that will be interesting too. The BYU team that was originally scheduled to play in Houston because of Hurricane Harvey relocated to Baton Rouge to play LSU. Meanwhile, more football tomorrow. This should be great. Yogi Roth is going to be there, jet setting somehow in time for the pregame. Colorado State and Colorado at Sports Authority Field where the Broncos play. The Rocky Mountain Showdown. And Steven Montez, we've seen him, but a little bit like Tyler Huntley, now the job is his.
He's the star. He's a star in this conference. I think he and a guy we'll see on Saturday on this network, Justin Herbert. You talk about the top 4 quarterbacks, right? The 2 out of Southern California, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold. Then the 2 from Washington, Luke Falk, Jake Browning. I think the next 2 stars are Steven Montez and Justin Herbert. The tempo of that system is going to be awesome.
Third down and 14 for Huntley. Looking to throw. Carrington again. He is near and down just inside the 1. He thought he had a touchdown. They'll surely be looking at this right now as we speak. And now we get a chance to give it a peek.
Yeah, he's short. But this is what I love. And Utes fans, I think, will feel me here. Last year, the last couple years in this system, they might run the ball there with the game 30-16 and trust their defense. But they said, no, no, no. We are establishing an identity in the red zone that we are going to be aggressive and take shots. And for as calm as Troy Taylor is, his demeanor as a play caller is aggressive. Love the play call, man-to-man coverage. You got one of the top wideouts in America, Darren Carrington, trying to prove that he remains one of the top wideouts, and your quarterback is playing on rhythm. He puts his back foot in the ground, rips a post, you're inside the 1.
And Kyle Whittingham takes a timeout. Now, the great thing about the centralized replay and command center is I'm sure that before we even looked at it, they'd already looked and decided that they felt like Darren Carrington's knee was down. There you see the front row. Those are the technicians. They are marking every single replay, every single play as it comes in. They're creating replays. For the officials in the second row, there's Bill Richardson in the middle, on-field experience, and you see what he has his right hand there. He can push and watch every single angle here.
Yeah, you see the left knee down, and then even the left elbow's down. You got to get Mikey M in there, man. That's the best seat in the house. Kidding me? If you're in studio?
And imagine what that's going to be like on a Saturday with multiple games going on in there.
I'll tell you what, one of the things I think I'll take away from this game will be that play call and that throw and that route. I mean, that anticipation from Tyler Huntley at this stage of the game, that's awesome. And the guts of Kyle Whittingham to call it is incredible. Watch his feet. We showed it earlier when he double hitched. He just is on rhythm. Ball is out. That's trusting yourself, trusting the space in this offense. That's the run and shoot at its finest. Man-to-man coverage. I'm crossing his face on a post. I trust you, bro. Ripped it in there.
Here's Huntley, and he is in. His second rushing touchdown of the game, the third of his career, and this is simply a coming out party for Tyler Huntley.
Handles the ball, tough snap. 2 hands on the rock, finds his way to the end zone. And I really think the evolution of Tyler Huntley mirrors the evolution of the offensive line in this ball game, guy. This offensive line, you go back to the first quarter, they got handled early on, specifically in the screen game, even in the run game, kind of found their way, as did this young man at the quarterback spot.
Alex Whittingham the snap, Wisnowski the hold, and gave the extra point up and good. 37-16 here in Salt Lake. Let's go to San Francisco and Mike Yam.
All right, guys, just a few minutes away from kickoff at ASU to see the start of the New Mexico State at Arizona State matchup. Tune into Pac-12 Arizona. Use the Pac-12 Now app or log on to pac-12.com. And for those of you watching on Pac-12 Network, we'll get you to that game right after the conclusion of North Dakota and Utah.
All right, Mike, looking forward to seeing that ASU team.
Really excited to watch Manny Wilkins, finally healthy. I think when he was healthy last year, he was one of the top 5 quarterbacks in this conference, in my eyes. And another new offensive coordinator in Billy Napier in this conference. We're talking about Troy Taylor all evening long. I think Billy Napier is a star. This is a guy who came from Clemson to Alabama. Now he's landed at ASU.
Meanwhile, look at this group. Troy Taylor, of course, Coach Jake Browning since he was in 5th grade. Sam Darnold, big podcaster from what I hear. Luke Falk and Josh Rosen. Eyes all over the Pac-12 this year.
Well, you get it every day of the week. Sunday, Josh Rosen, Texas A&M. So excited to watch another new OC in Jed Fish in his coming out party on the Pac-12.
That out of the back of the end zone. And so North Dakota, there was a moment here in this 4th quarter, maybe a few moments. The defense comes up, makes a big stop. Offense can't convert after pushed backwards. Studsrud loses his helmet, has to leave on a play. Utah gets the interception, takes control back of this game. And I don't know if the final score as it's shaping up or will indicate quite what Bubba Schweigert's team was able to do here tonight.
Well, I think when you go back and watch this film, and a lot of times when you lose a game, you go back and try to pull out a couple plays to make yourself feel good. Say we were in this game. I truly think for North Dakota, they go back and look at this game. There's a couple plays he referenced to Jill after the half, the 2 4th down plays, and then even the pick there after a drop. They're in this game. I don't know if they come out and win it, but it's a different conversation, and I think that is a big-time learning tool for this program. Look out for them in the Big Sky.
Brad Heidelbaugh has now come into the game in place of Keaton Studsrud, whose game and night is done. He was 13 of 27 for 175 and a touchdown.
I think on the defensive side, guy, this defensive front is realer than I thought.
Really?
I mean, Kylie Fitz, he kind of didn't know how he was going to come back from an injury. I mean, he's going up against a impressive offensive line. This is a team that prides themselves on being physical all across the board. I mean, we barely mentioned Lo Tulele, who is one of the more dominant defensive linemen in the entire country. You know, Bradley Anai coming off the edge. There's so many players that have made plays that I call game wreckers on this defensive front. The backers, Louis Fatasunga, Tautioli, flew to the football, and even this young secondary continue to make plays.
There's Wanzik going to the air, unable to bring that down. In coverage was the true freshman 28 wearing red, Javelin Guidry. We're excited to see in this game as well.
Crazy speed, 4.35 speed. He won the 100-meter dash in Texas and then moved to California for his senior year and won it there again.
That is special.
He didn't win it in like Pennsylvania where I grew up, man. I mean, he won it in real speed states. I mean, I really love the development of this team, and they have competitive depth. It's what UW has had. It's what SC has. It's what big-time programs have. It's what I think Colorado's developing.
There's pressure right up the middle. And Johannesson, the Minnesota transfer, gets out for about 2 or 3 yards. And the next evolution here is that sort of depth with freshmen, sophomores at the receiver position. We see it now with Carrington. But talking to Kyle Whittingham, he really feels like Troy Taylor's offense is going to be one that receivers want to play in. 3rd down for Heidelbaugh. And he is not on the same page with Damon Mercer. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Okay, this will be a fun receiving core to follow because, number one, they're probably sick. And being a former wider, you're sick of hearing that the weak link on a team is your position group and you can't create explosive plays. And number two is they were really aggressive tonight. Multiple, 5 penalties, I think, by the receiving core in general, blocking downfield. Clearly aggressive. I'm excited to watch them clean up because they're all big-bodied guys who can make plays on the ball.
Ruby Hobbs has been itching for a chance. And he's going to try and return this, and he just gets tripped up past the 30-yard line.
You know, the legacy here, the standard, they have a phrase called the standard is the standard, and it really starts on the defensive front here. Remember the Kruger brothers, really impressive players, went on in the National Football League, and when young players showed up, they had to rise up to that standard. You didn't make it. Starlo Tulele made his way, obviously, to the National Football League. Trevor Riley was an interesting prospect as he continued to develop athletically. Nate Orchard came in as a wide receiver. The way they find, identify, and develop. Hunter Dimmick, a unique athlete in high school. He played quarterback kind of growing up. He was a game wrecker last year. There's so many unique players on this defensive front in terms of how they find them. Caleb Rep, we didn't really mention him, former wideout. Overall, the development of this team and the humility on this team and how they manage tough situations is something that you got to just look at Kyle Whittingham and say, man, mad respect how you develop the culture here.
How about this? There's Troy Williams, who lost his starting quarterback job, beat out in camp. The incumbent, Tyler Huntley, came out and beat him. He won a captaincy for the 2nd straight year and then found out 2 days later he would not be the starting quarterback. And Kyle Whittingham said that there has been no drop off in his effort. There's been no drop off in his leadership. And here he is, a victory formation to seal a win.
Impressive. It's easy to be a locker room lawyer, especially your senior year, and he hasn't done that. You know, it's going to pay major dividends for him. This young man won 9 games in the Pac-12. He'll make a play or two throughout this season that will allow Utah to get a victory.
For Kyle Whittingham, that victory is a career mark. It's number 105. It moves him ahead of Mike Gundy for 5th on the active wins list. 4, and making 14 wins behind Nick.